03 Nissan Pathfinder, I believe 97 to 04 would be the same. If you have a problem where you lost your dash lights, there's a fuse. There's a couple things it could be, but I'm going to tell you what happened on mine. So there's a tail lamp relay right here that goes bad. It could be that. Runs through that. It's not the case on mine, but it could be that. And there's also a fuse number 61 under there that it also can be that controls it. Let's see if I can show you the label, but they call it 61. I'd have to confirm which one it is, but it's a 10 amp fuse, so check your stop lamp fuse there. Check your fuses there. That's a possibility. But here's the next thing. So someone tried to install radio on this, and they said ever since the radio was installed, which was an aftermarket one, that's an absolute rat's nest mess. So what happened was they hooked up the wrong wire and they grounded through a pink black instead of a body ground. And the pink black is your dimmer switch ground. See there? And then what it did is it fried the dimmer switch, which I've disassembled to show you. Right there, you see those two right by my finger? That is burnt. On the small part of that connection, it fried it because they tried to ground through that and it fried the dimmer switch. So they hooked their power ground to something wrong and fried the dimmer switch. It's happened to other people. It seems like when someone tries to put an aftermarket radio in, that's what happens. So I've been through a lot of testing and it kept throwing me off because I had power to these lights. Oops. First of all these lights on this dash panel were burnt out for the power back there. And then second of all, this is what happens too. That's a dead giveaway. You turn on your lights, turn them back off. Oh, you got power here. Turn them on, power off, because then it sends signal back through your dimmer switch. So that was throwing me off. I was messing with the dimmer switch. I pulled it apart. I couldn't see much. I looked at it quick. Oh, it looks all right. So then I started tracing my pink blacks. Okay, pink black. I had power through my pink black. That didn't make sense. I had power to the pink black into the instrument cluster. I had power to these lights from the pink black, which didn't make sense. And then you test the lights that run the blinkers. They have power, but they also have ground. And then they would do a ground interrupt to blink the lights. These did not have ground. So I lost my ground, which ground is your pink black through your dimmer switch that goes back to here. So they had fried the dimmer switch, opened it up, and it opened power through it. It made the connection, so it was sending power back through there, so nothing worked. So if you have a situation where someone put a radio in, and then when you turn your lights on and off, it shuts your panel lights off, they most likely fried the dimmer switch. Now, there's really nowhere aftermarket that makes them, so you have to find another one, or I'm gonna just see that little copper spot right there. I'm gonna just solder it and make it work to get by. The way I tested it, I plugged it back in and jumped across with like a screwdriver, and immediately these lights came back on and the stuff started working. So instead of being like this situation where the cluster wasn't working, so here we are, ordered a new cluster. Well, the odometer side worked, but guess what? The backlight still didn't power up, and this still happened. So then we go on and like, oh, maybe they had this aftermarket radio had only 2 plugs into the back of the radio, and 2 plugs are hanging there. So I'm like, well, I'll get a takeout radio from a junkyard, nice condition, plugged it all in, same thing. So then I started testing. This was the clock was unplugged. Plug that in, that didn't change anything. And then I started chasing all the pink blacks. They had power. They weren't supposed to be ground. So then I traced it back to finding this. So you can check your tail light relay, you can check your tail lamp 10 amp fuse. Hopefully that's it. But if in this situation someone powered this wrong and they burnt it out and all the way back to the tail light or to the dimmer switch. So I hope this helps you guys out. You just have to trust me that when I jump this all worked, everything worked. But just to save you guys from a ton of mess, pull the dimmer switch out, get a test light, ground it out, and first make sure you have a good ground. This is your body ground. The black is your to chassis ground. Okay, I had a good ground there. The pink black is ground through dimmer switch ground. Okay, so that controls the power, or controls the ground through the dimmer. The pink green is your actual 12-volt power. This controls how much is going to control the light dim. So it grounds through this switch, which is on this panel, which is burnt out. So please like and subscribe. Lord bless you guys, and if you have any questions, please ask.